Okay, first, let's welcome Elad Shaviv. The topic of his presentation is opportunities in the field of energy storage, coupled with solar energy move forward to 2030. Mr. Shaviv, Head of Business Development Unit and Operation of the Israel Electric Corporation Ltd., leading the company's international business activities, expansion to new markets, and leading local diversified opportunities. Prior to joining IEC, Mr. Shaviv served as Executive Director of EnergyCom, the National Israeli Energy Innovation Community, and chaired the Global Energy Innovation Business Leaders Group. Mr. Shaviv is a seasoned business leader with experience in global billion-dollar organizations and in launching growth companies within the cyber and smart utilities industries. Mr. Shaviv is engaged and leading several global research projects in the urban and smart energy domain and is a frequent speaker at industrial conference. Hi, Mr. Shaviv. Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Oh,
hello.
Yes, I can hear you. Hi. Okay, it's your turn.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you very much
Thank you very much.
setting this webinar and for inviting me to speak here. And I think that there are many opportunities in the Israeli market, both for solar, and solar goes immediately with storage, with energy storage. And at the moment in Israel, there is a very deep look on energy storage. It's coming from the government with, in some places, compulsory, mandatory deployment of energy storage where we have solar farms. In other places, it's just having a look on what are the issues, what are the topics that we need to address with energy storage. Now, the reason for energy storage in Israel is twofold. One is when we use renewables, then as we all know, this is less controllable form of energy generation. And if we want to increase and reach the Israeli goal of 30% from renewables by the end of the decade, we have to have sufficient energy storage capabilities to ensure sufficient electricity and energy during all times. The second reason to drive energy storage is the lack of transmission lines to connect all the distributed, or in some cases even bulk, renewable farms. And for the longer term, we would probably have to increase the transmission capacity. But for the shorter term, there were several studies that were done and shown that energy storage can support very economically a substitute to the current lack of transmission lines. There is actually also a third important reason for energy storage, and this is a strategic importance of the ability to have independency, energy independency in different regions of the country, in case of power outage, in case of disconnection of various lines. So energy storage has today, as I said, three main drivers, which makes actually everyone looking at it very seriously. One is the sufficient energy when using renewables. Second is replacement transmission lines. And third is energy independency. At the same time, as we are looking on energy storage and renewables from a technology point of view, we need also to understand as a country of the strategic importance and concerns when using energy storage and renewables. Typically, when looking on energy, we're looking on the energy trilemma. In the energy trilemma, we have three pillars that we need to ensure that we have a trade-off between them. One is energy security, to ensure that we have sufficient and reliable energy at all times. The second is energy sustainability. We want naturally to have less pollution and more sustainable energy. And the third is energy equity, so it would be accessible by everyone. And the minute that we start to deploy renewables and especially energy storage, and taking into account that energy storage today is still fairly expensive, and not in all locations we can do that. And also energy storage entrepreneurs have sometimes tendency to place it in one location or another location. So naturally, energy storage will contribute to energy security because it helps to ensure that we have reliable and sufficient energy at all times. But we need to ensure that it doesn't hurt some of the population when we deploy it, because we want to ensure that we have also energy equity. And if we improve one area, it might be sometimes at the cost, sometimes it is at the quality, sometimes it is the actual cost of energy in other areas. We need also to take into account sustainability. So naturally, energy storage improves the ability to use renewables, but we need to think about what are we going to do maybe 20 or 30 years from now when we need to replace the systems. How are we going to replace it? What are they made of? So the issue of energy storage is a very strategic issue and needs to be addressed not only from the technology side, and today it is mostly from the technology side, but also from the policy, from the environmental, and from the equity and well-being of everyone. Some of the main topics that have not been yet completely understood, I think, in the world, and it's the same in Israel. One naturally is the price and the reduced cost of energy storage, but I think that we're moving very fast ahead to have energy storage with commercial viability. But we need also to have a look on different standards, because when we're talking about energy storage, sometimes it is electricity, sometimes it might be heat or cold. So we have different type of energy storage, and also within the electricity, we have different type, and we need to look on the standards on connection, standards on managing the energy storage. Regarding the technologies as well, we in Israel have a pretty advanced energy storage innovative industry, and we have different type of energy storage systems, very interesting. But that also means that we are not sure yet which technology will be the ruling technology. The Leon the Leon batteries are, of course, capturing very fast, but there are various issues, including also how much of it, how much lithium ion we can have. So we're talking also about hydrogen. And when we're talking about hydrogen, would it be clean hydrogen, like green hydrogen or not? How will it be used? There are many ways to use hydrogen. Do you want to include heat or mainly focus on electricity? How are we going to look on electric vehicles? Will it be part of the energy storage array, or will it be more a sort of a consumption? So there are really a lot of issues regarding technologies, regarding the standards, and then of course also the management. Are we going to manage distributed energy storage? Will distributed energy storage, which is closer to the consumers, be different than energy storage which is connected directly to the grid? So are we going to look at it as very flexible or less flexible as generation systems? What will be the possible, the policies regarding the operation of it? So there are a lot of different aspects that still needs to be addressed when we are looking on mass deployment of energy storage. So I don't want to take more of the time, but to sum up, in Israel right now, there is a very intense look on energy storage. There are a lot of opportunities for deployment of energy storage at all levels, from the distributed energy storage, where still the commercial viability needs to be proved, and up to the grid level energy storage, where I think it was already proved, and in the last tenders of solar plus energy, the tariff that was submitted by the entrepreneurs was very attractive. But as we move along with mass deployment of energy storage, we need to understand better the issues of technologies, of standards, of how to manage everything, and how everything will be put together. So with this, I will conclude my opening speech, and thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Elad. Thank you very much. Thank you for your presentation.